If you want to know how to set advanced bid adjustments in Google Ads, then you're in the right place. I'm Travis Wilkie. I'm the founder of Missoula SEO Geek, and I've personally helped manage over $5 million in Google ad spend myself. And in today's video, I want to take some of that knowledge and expertise and show you a few things that you can utilize with advanced bid adjustments to further boost the profitability of your ads, to make your ads even more profitable and squeeze as much as you possibly can out of the money that you're putting into and investing into your Google ads. So let's go ahead and jump into things here. You can see here in Google Ads that we are in the audience section. This is going to be one place where we can place a bunch of different bid adjustments. To get here, I'm under campaigns, and then under audiences and keywords, I've clicked audiences here. From here, I like to select the largest date range possible. So I clicked data from all time. The reason being is when we're doing these sort of bid adjustments, we want to look at statistically significant data. And all that really means is we want to have like a couple hundred clicks for each of these to be able to know that, the data we're seeing here is actually accurate. If there's only 10 clicks, those 10 clicks are not enough to really get a good sense of how the performance is shaping up for any given demographic. So this is, once we're in audiences, we will see audience segments up at the top here. We will see demographics, which are age, gender, and household income. From here, we can set bid adjustments. If you're not already familiar with what a bid adjustment is, it just allows you to increase or decrease the amount that you're willing to bid to pay for a click. And it's really based on age, gender, and household income in this instance, right? What I recommend you do is select all time and look at all of the data from, and typically you're going to do this with one campaign. You can just select a campaign from the top up here. So we have one campaign here, which is our Phoenix Closets campaign, a bunch of different ad groups. But we can start to see these age ranges and see how much is being spent in each of these age ranges, as well as the number of conversions, the cost per conversion, and the conversion rate. If you don't see these columns here, you'll need to go over to the columns and modify your columns and actually select the correct ones here. You can also move them around here if you want to adjust the position, and then click apply, which is going to allow you to actually see the correct columns like the ones I have here. Now, when I'm setting a bid adjustment, typically what I'm focused on are the KPIs that matter the most, which in this case would be the number of conversions, the cost per conversion, and conversion rate, as well as the amount spent. Because like I was alluding to before, if we've only spent $9.62 on this age range here with this ad group, it's not going to be enough data for us to have like a clear understanding of what's really happening and feel confident that we can set a correct bid adjustment. Now, the way I look at this, you can see here the cost per conversion ranges pretty significantly, but there's one that's a total outlier right here, 55 to 64. We've gotten 15 conversions, which is the highest number of conversions, and it's about half the cost of these other demographics. And the conversion rate is about double, and we have a pretty significant number of clicks and conversions here, so we know the data is probably going to be pretty accurate, right? Since this one is getting such great results, I personally, in this case, would increase the bid adjustment here. What that's going to do, like let's say we want to go up 20%, that is going to tell Google, all right, if somebody searches for and is eligible to see our ads and they're within the age range of 55 to 64 years old, we're willing to pay an extra 20% for a click because we know that they're generating leads. We're generating leads from this audience at a very high rate and at a very low cost. So even if we go up 20%, our cost per conversion is still going to be well below these other demographics, right? Same thing with this one. Now, it doesn't have quite as many clicks, so I might wait a little bit to get more data before I actually move on making a change there, but actually this one does look like it's kind of in the same boat as well. So I would go ahead and throw in a 20% positive increased bid adjustment, which just tells Google, hey, I'm willing to spend more to get leads from these two demographics here. On the flip side, we have like 65 plus that is actually costing us significantly more than any other demographic age here. So we might actually decrease the bid adjustment by 20 or 30%. I'm actually going to do more like 30%. And so instead of, in this example, like let's say we're willing to spend $10 per click, now we would only be willing to spend $7 per click. What that might do here is drop the cost per lead to where it is actually within this threshold of these other demographics. And we can keep doing that maybe on these other ones where we need to go down but not as much, right? We could throw in a 10% bid adjustment to start with and just kind of get a sense of what that's going to do after it runs for a little while. Now, probably want to run this for a considerable amount of time after we make these adjustments before we come back and assess things. But in this specific use case, the way I would set this up is just like this. So the ones that are too high, the cost per conversion is too high, I'm putting a negative bid adjustment. I might even get a little more aggressive than this and do negative 20% on these. The one that is extremely high, I'm doing negative 30%. And then the ones that are doing great, I'm doing a positive bid adjustment. Ultimately, that's going to drive down the overall cost per conversion while at the same time getting us more conversions because we're willing to put a little bit more money in the areas where we're already getting the lowest cost per conversion, right? That's sort of the whole idea. Now, this is just one area where we can set these adjustments, right? We can do it by gender, we can do it by household income, and we can even dig into things further and do it by like device, for instance. This is in a different location though. So if you go under campaigns, insights, and reports, there's a when and where ads showed option here. If you click that, you will see the devices option. You can actually go between different tabs up here. But if we're just looking at devices, we can see that mobile phones are getting the lowest cost per lead. Computers are next, and tablets are the absolute worst. And you can see we've already set a bid adjustment here that reflects that. Just like I was showing before, where we have the lowest cost per conversion, we have a positive bid adjustment in place. And where we have the highest cost per conversion, we have a negative bid adjustment. So we're trying to drop these costs down while telling Google we're willing to pay a little bit more for people on mobile phones because we're just getting really good results there and we're willing to get even better flow of leads and pay a little bit more for it, right? Okay, that's devices, which is really just the type of device somebody is using when they're doing a search and seeing your ads. Then there's also locations, which is under audiences, keywords, and content and locations here. And again, there's some tabs up at the top, but if you just click on locations, this is something we actually changed recently, so the data is not showing up. But if you are using like zip codes or states or some other type of targeting where you have a whole bunch of different targeting locations, it will actually give you data for each location and you can set a bid adjustment for those locations. So this can be really beneficial if you find that you're getting much better results in certain zip codes than others. Then you can, like I was just showing you before, you can set those bid adjustments properly to kind of feather things and get it to perform a little bit better. The last one here that we'll look at is the ad schedules. So in the same place here, audiences, keywords, and content, instead of locations, we are on ad schedule here. And this is setting the times and days that our ads are actually going to be running. Again, this has been changed recently, so there's no data to show here. However, assuming that you have bid adjustments set up already and you have some data in here, you can go, or excuse me, given that you have ad schedules set up already and you have some data in here, you can use the bid adjustments to do exactly what I was showing you before. So maybe Mondays you're getting really good results, Tuesdays is terrible results. So you can set, a positive and negative bid adjustment to those days and start to generate even better results from your existing ads. So that's really advanced bid strategies in a nutshell. Now, and there's a lot that goes into this. So if you are confused or have any questions or anything of that nature, please do not hesitate to reach out. Drop your questions in the comments section down below, and we'll be sure to get back to them there. Look, if you're the type of person that just doesn't even want to deal with Google Ads anymore, then you can always reach out to me. My company is Missoula SEO Geek. I'll leave a link to my website down below, but we do manage Google Ads for different companies in different industries, and you can come learn about what we do, what makes us unique. You can even read some of the testimonials from some businesses that we've taken from 0 to over $1 million in revenue, like this one here. And really just see that, this is the type of thing that's going to explode your business growth. So feel free to reach out. You can always give us a call or contact us through our website, and look forward to working with you.